Welcome to part 2 in our 5-part series. We're going to be talking about Medicaid trusts. Medicaid trusts are the surest way to help protect your home from long-term care. For most of us, our home is our biggest asset, and we don't want to see our home lost to long-term care liens, nursing home liens, and Medicaid liens. And the best way to protect our home is to plan ahead and put our home into trust. But not just any trust. It has to be a perfectly drafted Medicaid trust designed to protect your house from long-term care liens. So why do we do this? Well, for most of us, again, our home is our biggest asset. We spend our lives trying to pay off our houses. And the last thing we want is to lose all of the equity in our home if you or a spouse need long-term care. Why do we need to do this? Well, your house is an asset that Medicaid MassHealth can look at when you apply for long-term care benefits. And if you own your own home and you qualify for Medicaid MassHealth benefits for long-term care, they can put a lien against your house for every dime that they pay out on your behalf, and it can eat up your home's equity very, very quickly. But by putting the home into a properly drafted Medicaid trust, we can protect the home from liens and keep it away from Medicaid MassHealth's prying hands. What's the catch? The catch is we need to plan ahead. We need to do this early. That's because Medicaid MassHealth has what's called a 5-year look back. And that means at the time that you're actually applying for benefits, they're allowed to look back at the previous 5 years of transactions. And they look at everything from your bank statements to your investments to see if you're giving gifts or if you're giving any money away. And a transfer to a trust is what MassHealth would consider to be a disqualifying transfer. So they can actually disqualify you for benefits or assess a penalty period against you for putting your home into a trust if you've done it within 5 years of applying for benefits. So the key is to put the house in trust early while you're still healthy, before the need for long-term care arises, so that we've got time for that 5-year clock to run. Once the home is put in trust, that clock starts to run, and after 5 years go by, that home is protected. It's not an available asset for Medicaid MassHealth to put a lien against, and the home equity is protected for the next generation. Medicaid MassHealth hates the fact that we're able to do these trusts and protect the house, because the last thing they want is for you to be able to keep your biggest asset away from them. But the rules allow us to do it as long as we do it early, 5 years before you need benefits. Now, this really is expert level stuff. You don't want a Medicaid trust done by a lawyer that just dabbles in estate planning. This trust has to be done perfectly. It will be heavily scrutinized by MassHealth. They will look at every word in the trust to try and find a way to break through the barrier that the trust has created. So the trust needs to be done by an attorney that knows what they're doing, knows what Medicaid MassHealth's arguments are, and knows how to set up the trust properly so that they can't break through the trust barrier. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to a new client that comes in to see me and tells me that they are all set because their home is already in a trust. And I'll tell the client, why don't you let me take a look at the trust anyway? And time after time, I have to give bad news. I have to tell this client that yes, their home might be in a trust, but the trust isn't of the proper form to protect their house. Lots of times clients think that their 5-year look-back period has already begun to run or maybe even be over already. But when I tell them that the trust isn't proper and doesn't protect the house at all, and that we have to completely restart their 5-year look-back period all over again, you see the color just drain from their face. This is not something that you want to take a risk with. Again, your home being your biggest asset, you need to do this right the first time, so you need to talk to an expert attorney that is well-versed in Medicaid and MassHealth, the games they play, and the way they look at these trusts. Stay tuned for part 3 of our seminar, where we're going to be talking about in-home care that can help keep someone out of a nursing home.